Okay, so I actually got this as a recommendation on better faith than the last one I tried, so I'm kind of glad wasn't it wasn't boring.
Most of the time there was something interesting going on.
I personally argued that the first few episodes were kind of tropey and boring.
Well, yeah, but
and then it started to get a little silly. But anyway, so I guess we'll start with explaining what the fuck this is. Yeah, love flops. So a young man wakes up to a very annoying alarm clock.
No, the alarm clock's great.
And
it's got places to be.
Yeah, and it's gonna charge him for some reason, and so he watches a TV thing about
It's a fortune telling AI.
Yeah,
and it's like, hey, if you're born on October
18th, maybe
whatever. If you're born on this day, here are your lucky words: corner, stairs, train, dog, cleaning robot, letter.
Yep. And it's like, whatever.
That's a lot of words.
Yeah, that sucks.
Well, I'm gonna be late.
And he was like, wait, I have plenty of time, what the fuck? And so he turns the corner into a girl running with toast in her mouth and smacks right into her and practically gets a panty shot.
Yeah, she lands on top of him and...
Like, I don't even know how. Like, they collided and I think they rolled and, yeah, she ended up basically straddling his chest because, of course.
Also, her panties were gone.
Well, he picks up what appears to be, like, it looks like a mask. Like, that was my first impression. But I knew what I didn't want it to be, but what it probably was. But regardless.
So then he gets on the train, and,
a lady in a Chinese dress, looking a bit like Chun-Li, but with green hair, sits next to him. Falls asleep on his shoulder,
and then Kung Fu kicks the handrail,
like nearly taking his head off when he accidentally like gets full handfuls of her boobs. But she's too tired to even remember that happened exactly. Maybe I don't know.
Something like that. So his next word was stairs, so he goes down the stairs. He's like, nothing bad's gonna happen.
Oh, hey, I made it down the stairs. That's fine. But then another girl is running down the stairs, slips, and lands on his face, more or less. And he just happened to take with him a banana container.
With a banana in it.
And it happens to be...
in his pocket.
Yes.
And she hits it.
Because she thinks it's something else. Because it sure looks like something else. And
then she runs off.
Yep. And
so he goes through. He's cutting through the park,
and he manages to dodge the trash robot. But the trash robot comes.
It comes back bearing gifts.
Well, a gift.
Filled with many other gifts.
Yeah, I forgot. Bra, like, hands him a bra, or he grabs the bra, and all these inserts just start falling out. Like, 4 or 5 per side. And, yeah, this girl comes running up, and she's like, you programmed the robot to steal my bra. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just took these away from the robot. And then the robot starts grabbing her and declaring that she is trash. At which point we start, and we got a kick out of that, and thus her nickname became Trash. And
so after that whole ordeal, there's a dog, and he's just like, how can this dog do wrong to me?
Because it's a little cute dog, and it like yips at him, and then he follows the dog, and then there's a boy being humped doggy style
by a bigger dog.
Yes.
With a scar.
God, that dog is horny.
And the dog notices him and is just like, nah, that's better.
Yeah, I'm going after that.
So then he finally makes it to school. And guess what? There's 4 transfer students and a new teacher.
And, yeah, so as it turns out, all of these girls are the ones that he met, and his pseudo-friend, Yoshio, who I'm absolutely convinced is named after the friend character from Tokameki Memorial, makes a big deal out of, like,
oh man, you're getting with 5 girls? Wow, that's wild. I can't even get with 1.
and he explains all about them, which is weird.
Yeah, he knows things that he definitely shouldn't.
It's just as bad as Yoshio from Tokameki Memorial. But yeah, so
He gets a letter in his locker.
you will not escape this meeting, I believe is how it ended.
Yeah.
And he bumps into Aoi, who's Glass's girl. We didn't explain that. She's the first one who ran up with Toast and lost her underwear, which she finds out when she's changing to do gym. Anyway, when Asahi decides that he's gonna try and return what he thought was a handkerchief, he pulls out her name's Amelia. She's a redhead, literally red hair, and we call her trash. Pulls out her bra.
This is before the meeting.
Yes, before the meeting he was supposed to have. And then she screams, slaps him, and runs away. And then, slowly but surely, everyone kind of explains...
Well, maybe we misjudged him.
Yeah, maybe he's not so bad. And that conversation took place in the locker room before. But... So... He kind of makes up with most of them. And then he happens to run into... the boy name's fuck
Ilya.
Ilya?
Ilya.
Okay, so Ilya runs into him and is like, I'm sorry, I overreacted. And then the dogs show back up. And our protagonist somehow, like, the pants come off.
It's fine, don't worry how we got there. It just happens.
It's awful. And then he remembers that he has to go and meet what's-her-face. Whoever wrote the letter.
Yeah, at the cherry blossom tree.
Yeah.
So they can be together forever.
Because she's like, I'm in love with you, but in that moment, the wind lifts her skirt, and she's not wearing underwear, so he's, like, getting flashed and not taking in anything that's being said, and accidentally mistakes her confession of love for love and going commando.
Yeah. Anyway, he tries to return what he thinks is the handkerchief. The wind blows it away, revealing it as panties.
Yes.
And then he goes home.
Yeah, well, on the way home, he's thinking about going commando, and then Ilya shows up and makes dog noises at him, and he has a panic attack. Because
yeah, he runs into all the girls on his way home.
Oh, God, yes.
Trash is trying to get him to sign a marriage license.
Yeah.
Like, she's just like, here, sign this, please, thank you.
And, well, before that, he gets... Well, because Ilya confesses to him, and then I didn't realize that they tease something that we didn't... So, Karen, who is the blonde one who landed on his face and punched his banana, um, uh, suddenly appears in a wedding dress from out of nowhere. And I mean literally out of nowhere, because she spots him and she's in her school clothes, and then she does a weird motion and suddenly she's in a wedding dress, and decides that she's gonna take him to go get married at a love hotel.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what you do.
And so to get away from her, he's like, well, I guess we should exchange vows. Now close your eyes.
And he just walks away.
Just leaves. And then that's when he gets more or less grabbed by the teacher.
Mongfa.
That's awful.
I mean, it's either Mongfa or Bai.
Excuse me?
Bai Mongfa. That's her name.
Really?
Yeah. They use the word... They use Mongfa more often, so...
Yeah, Mongfa's teacher grabs him, and in order to get away from...
some thugs.
Yes, or underlings, as she calls them, she basically starts sucking on his neck, and he literally has hickeys from it. And I'm just like, And then she's like, I love you. And he's like,
Rightfully so.
Yeah, because girls are all fucking insane. And so, yeah, that's when he gets home.
Yeah, he gets home and he opens the door and guess who's waiting for him? All 5 of them.
It's great because he's like, welcome home, honey, and he just shuts the door.
Yeah, guess what? All 5 of these ladies are living with him now because his dad is fucking weird, I guess.
Like, I selected these women to be...
Also this boy.
Also this boy, because you shouldn't be restricted by gender. And it's like, no, good on you. Good on you. Too bad that'll be kind of subverted.
Hey, spoilers. By the way, if you're in this far, there's going to be spoilers in this.
Yeah, we'll tell you when the big spoilers happen. Because some of these are kind of... Alright, you know what? From this point onward... Well, not quite this point onward.
Spoilers are fair game.
Yeah, we're gonna spoil the shit out of this, because there are some twists and turns in this show that we can't fairly rate this show without them. But we'll try and be as vague as we can at the scoring, I guess. So if you want to know what we score it and decide that's what's going to make you watch it or not, I'm just going to say right now, watch this fucking show.
Okay, and thus begins the everyone's character episode.
Yeah, everyone needs to have a dating sim moment. So, Aoi has hers at the end of the second episode when he finally decides he's going to let them live with them after there was a stealthily added wing to his house.
Yeah, no, they just
added it.
Popped in more rooms.
Which is kind of a hint to something. But
yeah, Dad's fucking loaded. He can just do this.
Yeah, sure, that's what it is. He can totally get that done in a school day.
Dad collected 5 brides.
Fair. From afar. That's the part that's just like...
Yeah, they're not just all from Japan.
No, most of them aren't from Japan.
Actually, all of them but one of them are not from Japan.
Yeah. But, yeah, so... They all more or less practically sexually assault him, including Mongfa dropping from the ceiling.
He goes to bed and she's just up there.
Well, because he searches under the bed, under the desk, in the closet, and he's like, oh, thank God. All right, nobody's here. Lays down on the bed, looks up, she's hanging from the ceiling.
Okay, this comes after finding trash in the bathtub.
Trash in the bathtub.
With a snorkeler.
And Karen followed him in and was going to take a bath with him, and she kicks her out. I don't even remember what... I think Aoi and Ilya... They just, like, snuggle up next to him.
I think so.
And, yeah. But at that point, he's like, well, if you guys aren't fucking leaving, I'm leaving. And that's when Aoi chased after him and is like, hey,
fine.
We're being ridiculous. We'll be better.
If you guys can calm down for just, like, 5 minutes, you can stay.
Just keep it in your pants, and we'll be fine. Is basically what he's saying. And Lord knows anyone in that situation would be like, Jesus Christ, just I don't know any of you people. Stop. But anyway, so yeah. To be perfectly honest, they don't exactly tone it down.
They kinda do a little bit, but like they're still a little handsy.
Karen is the worst of them.
She has a reason though.
True, but we'll get there. So, first episode is about trash, because we have to start from the bottom and work our way to the top. So, Trash's episode is that she can't write kanji.
Relatively simple. So, like, what he does is he makes a flip book for her, or a little like note flashcards.
Like, he helps her study a ton, and he makes it a point that, like, because she's like, well, what's the point of working hard if you don't get anything out of it? And he's like, well, it should matter that you put in the work, and the results. It's a really fucking it's a big problem with school in general that you're kind of taught that results are everything and not the effort that you put in, and that's a really bad lesson to teach people. So it's all about like, no, you're a hard worker, and that's a good thing. And
also we learn that she reads a lot of porn.
Well, so much smut. Like, Jesus.
The only thing she can write is smut.
It's kind of amazing. God, what was it? Something Thunder? Not that Thunder.
No, the thing that she wrote on the wall?
Yeah, where it was translated on the wall.
Yeah.
It's like...
that.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It was like rotating thunder?
Something of that nature.
Thunder rotation.
Yeah, either way. Like, there were just funny kanji written all over the fucking walls. And, so her episode ends when he hands her a flip book. Well, not a flip book, it's flashcards.
It's flashcards on, like, a keychain ring.
Yeah, and she takes... The whole reason this came up was because they were doing a kanji test, and... she gets like a 70. She's like, well, I guess I've
got a long ways to go, but hey, I've come a long ways.
Yeah, and that's...
From writing murky white liquid on the wall.
It's supposed to be milk, man. But yeah, and then... Fuck, who's after...
Ilya.
Oh, right, Ilya.
See, they go to this drawing thing for... And they all win the prize, which is a trip for two to...
three of them win a prize.
Yeah, 3 of them win a prize, which is a trip for 2 to this... Hot spring resort in the middle of the woods.
Spa, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was really funny. It's like, wow, I can't believe 3 of you fucking won top prize. And it's like, of course they did. And so they all go, and... like, how do we want to split up rooms? And Asahi's like,
we'll split it by gender.
By gender. Ilya and I'll share a room, and you girls get your own fucking room. Jesus Christ. And Ilya's panicking because we find out that she's actually a girl.
Yeah, her dad was like, I wanted a boy, so you have to pretend to be a boy. Which leads to some hijinks with a Tengu mask.
So they both decide they're gonna go to the hot springs proper, and she's panicking because she doesn't want to reveal that she's actually a girl. Which, okay, and in order to fake it, she puts the Tengu mask on her crotch, and it gives her the most obnoxious bulge you have ever seen. And Lord, the camera just loves to get right up in there and stare at it. And so does Asahi. And he's just like, I can't not look at it. Oh my god.
I can't compete with this.
Even though earlier they had her look at his area and it made an elephant noise. So we know what that means. But yeah, just...
But no, there's a whole bunch of hijinks about her pretending to be the most manly of men. Like, she washes his back and she just keeps prodding him with it.
Yeah! I was like, I want her to poke him with it. Well, I washed his back, and she totally does.
They get in the sauna together, and she's trying to get... She's thinking, like, well, if I leave now, he's gonna realize I'm a girl.
Even though that's it's just a stupid thing that I guess guys do.
And she's in there for long enough that she just starts generating heat.
Well, the Tengu mask is heated up so much that like all of her sweat is like hitting the Tengu nose, and it's like steaming up, and it gives her like an aura that's blowing her hair up. And he finally is just like, "You're a man among men." And oh god, and then she like loses her towel, and it gets like blown onto a rock, which is absurd because it should be wet, but whatever. And then loses the Tengu mask, and so puts the Tengu mask on before Asahi can walk in and realize that
she's a girl,
and acts like the Tengu, and he
just bails.
He's like, "Oh shit," and accidentally knocks over a bar of soap, and then she comes in sporting the Tengu mask prominence. And then immediately slips on the bar of soap, and the towel goes away, and it's a girl. Who would have thought?
And he's just like, "Look, be who you want to be." And she's like, "I love you."
But like, yeah, and then she has her into the eye moment, which is, funny enough, a double entendre. God, is it? Oh, Jesus.
Alright, now it's a teacher's episode. And let me tell you, this is where shit just starts to get wild.
So, they're like, wow, she's so sophisticated. Then they cut to her at the house, and she's getting drunk off her ass, and she's having a nip slip problem, and trying to get Asi to fix it. And so she like collapses because she's drunk, and Asi puts her to bed. And then he gets to his room, and there's lumps under his covers, and he's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, not again." And he rips the covers off, and there is a giant man in his bed.
Colonel Thunders.
We didn't even get that name yet. There's just a giant man with sunglasses who's like...
He looks like Colonel Sanders,
he
but
does! He does! And he knocks him out, and then it reveals that he's tied up and naked with a ball gag. And he's like, "You're bait." And I'm like, oh god. And then they call him Colonel Thunders, and we lose our shit at this gray-haired, gray-mustached beast of a man. And then teacher comes in and starts taking pictures of him, because of course, and lets him go, gives him the ultimate weapons in the form of lube and a Hitachi vibrator, and proceeds to accidentally punch people in the balls.
As they leave the room, there's a dude that's just unconscious, and she's like, "He was like that when I got here.
Yeah, totally.
Must just fall asleep."
Yeah, it's fine. And then the first guy, she's like, "Oh no!" and like drops and punches him in the balls, and then Ozzy beats him over the head with the vibrator. And what's even better is the second guy where he turns it on.
Yeah, dude comes down the hallway. She pulls out a whip.
Yeah!
Grabs him, and then, yeah, he gets bonked on the head.
Turns it on, and like vibrates his head, and I'm just like, oh my god.
So they have to go to the control room.
Yeah, because the elevators aren't working.
And they get there, and Colonel Thunder appears again.
Oh,
and he's like, "Look, you're the bloody tiger or something."
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, No, I'm not, I swear.
And he's like, "You don't want the boy to know who you really are. You need to fight me like the real..."
"You killed my unit. The West Coast Lightning." I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think it was too. Colonel Thunders.
And so she gets thrown around a bit, and you see like string every once in a while. You see lines every once in a while.
It's coming off of like its hands and stuff every time she like dodges around him. And she tells Asahi to hit the button on the rotating bed because they're in a love hotel somehow. And as it turns out, she's wrapped unbreakable wires from Godzilla around him and tied them through the bed so that when the bed rotated, it would pull him and essentially cut him into pieces, which is what it sounds like when they leave. And they get down to the basement or the ground floor, and
she's like, "Hey, we need to split up. You can't be around me anymore."
Yeah, because she's embarrassed by who she was. And
all the while, she's just murdering dudes.
Oh, dude, she throws a knife through someone's neck, like punches a guy's face against a pillar so hard, like his teeth fly out. It gets really bloody and really violent, and I was like, holy shit. And she starts shooting people. Also, all these evil guys have like black visors and like the goofiest fucking dollar store guns you've ever seen.
It's the future.
Yes,
future guns.
Future guns. And she's got like these energy things she can do with like her hands, like these yellow shields, and she can punch with them, which is fucking sick. But yeah, so she tells him to run, and he starts having a flashback to all their time together that never felt all that long, but I guess by this point he's attached to her.
Yeah.
And then turns out Colonel Thunders is a robot.
Yeah, he comes back and like his torso is just all machine.
And there was a part of me that's like, because you were like, oh, they got rid of Colonel Thunders. I'm like, Colonel Thunders is coming back. I'm like, he's probably a fucking robot or something. And then, lo and behold, I mean, he's a cyborg, but he's a robot.
With extendy arms.
Yes.
It's like a rocket fist, but it doesn't like...
It doesn't detach.
No, it just keeps going.
It just it's the sword from Gurren Lagann. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't need to make sense for reasons, but we'll get to that.
Anyway, he comes back and he's covered in oil, covered in lotion.
Yes, but before that, he tries to hit him with a shock baton. Doesn't do shit, and then he gets Colonel Thunders covered in lotion, and it seeps into like his core, and so he zaps him with the lotion on, and then Mongfa uses her shield fist and punches through his chest more or less, and he falls over dead.
They couldn't see that.
What?
They couldn't see your hand gestures.
But that's why I enunciated it. Quote unquote dead. He's a robot. It's whatever.
Anyway, everybody's fine with the assassin coming home, so it's fine.
But they end up they get home, and Asahi is covered in oil all over fucking Mongfa, and of course Mongfa doesn't give a shit. Because
that's what she wants.
She wants a piece of that. And that's the end of the episode. And I specifically remember taking a bathroom break after this one and being like, I don't know what's going to happen. And what's sad is that what was going to happen was forecasted.
Yeah, but you couldn't know that.
No, you couldn't know that, but I love seeing that the hints were there. Like that's satisfying. That they totally gave some of this away. You had a couple of hints that like. So anyway, I went to the bathroom like, this show's only gonna get stupider. And you're like, no, it's just gonna ignore it. It's gonna be.
See, I was like, where the hell do you go from Colonel Thunders? And then they found a way.
Oh, they found a way. So, Aussie is like grabbing food at night, and a robot, a flying robot, targets his dick and balls and starts saying neuter,
and then it explodes because there's a magical girl.
And the magical girl who said like erection up or something. And,
anyway, he just kind of goes, well, I guess that's my life now. And he goes home.
Well, no, because he starts explaining to Yoshio. He's like, I totally saw a magical girl. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then what is described as a torsion dick and balls remover descends from the sky and starts launching more robots, and then they shoot Yoshio, and he gets a chastity belt, and in trying to remove said chastity belt,
it fucking explodes.
And then they go and check, and his dick and balls are gone.
and right above the big robot, a big old 1 comes out.
Yeah.
It's got a kill counter.
It's got a kill count. And, well, before this, Karen runs in and is like, yo, Ozzy, we should have sex. And he's like, what the fuck? It's like, you're skipping like 5 different steps here. And that's when all that shit happens. And then...
So she runs to the roof. The other 4 girls run somewhere else.
And,
Asahi follows her up to the roof, sees her transformation.
And as it turns out, Karen is a magical girl with the worst mascot ever. Oh my god. This rabbit has condoms for ears, a condom for a tail, and every sentence with rubber is wearing a turtleneck that looks like you know what.
It's got liquidy wings
that just look like shots of semen. I'm sorry.
And anal beads
coming out of his ass. Yep.
Yeah, there's fucking like the longer you look at it, the worse it gets.
There's more details.
Oh, and it's wearing a little condom necklace.
It's got like the condom in the package as a necklace. It's just like, oh my god. And then they're like, you need to power up Karen. And Karen's like, grab my boobs. And he's like, oh my god. And then the rabbit pushes him. And he does it. And she gets some power. And she tries to blow up the machine.
Yeah, her Tokameki Doki Doki power gauge fills up about halfway.
Yeah, and she attacks with a Viagra something. All of her spells are ED drug fucking names. It's kind of incredible. Like, I lost my shit when Cialis came up. But anyway.
Yeah, so since she wasn't fully powered up, it doesn't do anything, so they have to run.
Yeah, because she transforms back, and Aussie has to catch her. And the rabbit's like, we have to take you to the
MM unit.
The boner mobile. I don't know what the fuck you want to call it. The bone her mobile is more appropriate.
Yeah, just a trailer in the middle of the park with
mirrors and a couch.
Yeah, no, it's real good.
And a meter.
Yeah, a 1 to 10 meter.
And so she's like, we need to bone. And he's like, I'm not ready for that.
He's like, you don't actually want that. And she's like, no, I need to.
I want to do this, but he's like, but this is powered by love, and you're like, it's not going up when anything that would seem romantic would be happening. And then she manages to basically strip him completely, and just fucking blocks her on the head. It's like,
no horny.
Bad. Go to horny jail.
And so, like, she realizes that she actually does love him, but not, like, it isn't just a sexual way.
Yeah. And
which powers her up to her final form.
In which her wings look like
yes.
legs. And also her beam also
has legs.
And has the word Cialis. And, yeah, and then like 68, because as it turns out, when it gets to 69, it's going to blow up everyone's junk.
There's multiple of these. They've
over the world.
They've landed everywhere.
And, like, you watch on the TV as a newsman gets assaulted and it blows up. And then the news lady's like, your balls! So fucking great.
But yeah, no, so that they deal with the robot.
And then they show, like, a beam goes back to, like, Yoshio, and he gets his dick and balls back.
He's like, they're back!
They're back! Oh, my God. At this point, I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck is... Like, where do you go from here? And as it turned out, the answer was beach
episode. Nude beach episode.
Oh my god. Yeah, so there's really nothing to talk about with the beach episode.
Well, I mean, there's a little bit.
There is a little bit towards the end.
I mean, there's the part from the beginning where Aoi's not there with them.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And nobody says anything about it.
Yeah, because Aoi had a moment in the Karen episode where...
Her eyes flashed red, and she's like, oh, well, we're leaving.
Yeah, we're good. Like, and we tried to make sense of that. The whole time we were making jokes that now she was a robot. Which, oh man... Lord knows that would become a thing. But anyway,
and then so they do their little shenanigans, and as they're going back, all four of the girls disappear.
Well, I feel
three
like
of the girls disappear.
There's one scene that we need to talk about.
Is it before they go to the beach?
Well, I mean, the fact that Truck-kun, in all his glory, made an appearance and took out Yoshio was fucking hilarious. But... No, we need to talk about the scene with Mongfa where she's going to split the watermelon, but they buried Asahi, but he's wearing a gimp mask.
Yeah.
And she nearly hits him with it, but the wind from her strike is so intense, it blows the mask off of him, it blows all the girls away. It's just like... Great. It's just discount your.
Yeah.
Like
you're at home.
A lot. And but yeah, the girls disappear. And then Aoi appears. And it's like, oh god.
And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll get the chopsticks. He grabs like a whole handful for, the six of them. And she's like, no, you only need two.
Yeah.
Or two sets. And I don't know what you're doing with all these bowls. You don't need those.
And then he breaks the bowl, and turns out Yoshio keeps trying to call him, and she just hangs it up. But then at some point, there's a really sinister shot of her cutting meat, and there's blood everywhere. And
then Yoshio calls again, and she just stabs the phone.
And throws it into the trash, and Aussie's like, did I hear a loud noise? And she's like, no. He's like, oh, okay. And so Asahi starts making comments that I think refer to... So at the very beginning of the show, there was a scene with a girl whose face we don't see running away into like a digitized...
Into the Matrix.
Essentially, and then he starts to dissolve. And we don't get any information on that, except we kept getting these... Whenever we see a flash... where it dives into the eye of one of the girls, we see a perspective of seeing Asahi as a child.
Yeah.
Which we're like...
It sort of makes sense until the teacher has the vision, and then it's just like, wait.
She's way too small. Like, Asahi is bigger than her in that sight, and it's like, wait, what? And he starts making reference to things that aren't... that I think are actually from when... Well, because partway through this, we get a scene of him talking to a girl named I.
Yeah.
And she's talking about the stars, and she tells him that she wishes they could stay here forever. And Aoi starts making that comment.
Yeah, and then something else happens.
Yeah,
I'm kind of fuzzy on this part myself.
Like they for whatever reason he figures out that something's up, but they end up like outside by
the cherry blossom.
Yeah, the cherry blossom tree, like huge fucking tree, and it becomes clear that something's very, very wrong because he keeps remembering that there are other people, and then Aoi tries to really make a move on him, and then I comes out and tells him like, you gotta go.
You can't be here. Don't come back. See ya.
Basically boots him out.
Yeah. Boots him out of what? It's the Matrix.
Yeah, so big fucking spoilers if you didn't stop here before, but Ozzy's been living in virtual reality this entire time. All of that bullshit was stupid, contrived nonsense in a fake world to basically attempt to create human emotions in AI by having them interact with real people.
Yeah, it turns out this is a whole big organization thing where they're like, hey, we're going to put the AI in with you in different situations. Some of you guys might get family situations. Some of you guys might get romantic situations. And it was kind of manipulated by... Okay, so going back a little bit, I think before this they talk about how the AI is derivative of this guy's daughter.
Yes.
Who's also named I.
Mm-hmm. Coincidence? Probably not.
And, well, this dude's daughter was actually Asahi's friend. And so they're like, well, maybe he wasn't randomly picked. Maybe the AI actually picked him specifically.
Yeah. And, because every derivative AI is based off of this person who was taken from essentially a complete brain replication of this guy's daughter, whose fucking initials are AI, and her name is AI. God, it's terrible.
It's super subtle. What are you talking about?
And so this guy just wakes up after spending months with what he thought were real people and some of the most absurd bullshit you've ever seen. And he can't, like, he hadn't been to school in a while, like, even before all this happened.
Yeah.
Because they make a comment about that.
Yeah, because he's still reeling from her death.
Well, they said it's been 2 years. Even.
Well, he's still reeling. You don't just get over death in like 2 years. Some people take a while.
Yeah, but,
Anyway.
Well, because the funny part is that he took part in the experiment to try and forget her. And,
well,
wow.
That didn't go very well.
No, it did not. And so this scientist, technician, whatever, is trying to get through to him, like, this didn't happen. Like, these people aren't real. And then, as it turns out, AI everywhere are having freakouts, and cars are crashing, and the company that runs all this shit is having a panic attack.
And they're like, you know what? We're just gonna have to run the kill code.
We got to delete it all, and so the lady,
she goes rogue.
well, because she gets fired.
Well, yeah, she goes rogue, and she's like, hey, you guy, you're gonna have to help me out. And he's just like, I can't find the will to live. And then his alarm clock projects the 4 girls. And they're like, please save us. Save her.
God, at first they're like shitty low poly models.
No, at first they're shadows.
Yes, but then they scan in and they're shitty low poly 3D models. And I'm like, keep them as that. I want this. And then, of course, they turn into the drawn images.
And so they're like, okay, well, I guess we're going to go to Dr. AI's house. And we're going to hook you up to the machine. You're gonna go in there, and
you gotta talk to I. Well, the idea was that they wanted to. What's her face wanted to save the 5 AI, and Asahi wants to reconcile with his childhood friend who we. Okay, we'll get there, but he goes back into the VR, and fucking Yoshio bursts out of the alarm clock. It's fucking gross, and they're all naked, and they hop into a pool and burst into a room with the 4 girls.
Yeah, and then Yoshio coughs up an egg.
Oh,
revealing something that nobody wanted, and that's the return of Condom Rabbit.
Ugh, sod or whatever.
Yeah, and it's back, and it's unfortunate.
God, it's the worst.
So they end up going through the base or whatever where they fought Colonel Thunder.
Yeah.
Because they ran out of locales.
I mean, it makes sense that they're traveling through pieces of the virtual world that he lived in.
So they end up fighting a whole bunch of Mr. Smiths.
Sort of, yeah.
And everybody's got a transformation now.
Yes, they do. And par for the course, Trash has the worst one.
Yeah, Trash becomes a scholar. Boy becomes a Tengu.
Who is a girl and changed her name to Urumi, but we didn't talk about that. And
Magical Girl is obviously Magical Girl, and then Assassin is Assassin.
Yeah, she turns into her...
She's got, like,
costume.
optic camo or some shit like that, whatever.
That's whatever. She punches shit, and that's what she does.
And so the entire time they're fighting these guys, we're both going, man, is Colonel Thunder going to come back?
And then, I think at first the Cyber Dragons, I just realized that's what they are. They're Cyber Dragons from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Nice.
They're dark colored Cyber Dragons, and they just start barfing out fucking purple eraser beam, but at first it corrupts the Mr. Smiths with visors, and then fucking they're running through a hallway, and then the floor beneath them starts to cave in, and we're like, yes! And Colonel Thunders bursts from the floor, and we're like, yes! And then they all get corrupted, and as it turns out, that if they get touched, they get deleted or some shit. And,
Mongfa. Okay, yeah. She stays behind to fight off everybody, and she pushes Asahi
yep.
through the portal.
Man, you really don't listen to me, do you?
No, I don't. Look, man, we've been here for 47 minutes.
I know.
And so she gets deleted.
It's sad because she ends with like a really cool punching, like flurry of punches exchanged between her and Colonel Thunders. It takes him out, but she's been hit too many times and she's gonna get deleted.
Yeah. So then we appear at the school where the
dick removing robots.
Yeah, they're back and they're just banging on the windows and shit.
Well, not quite.
Well, they're floating around the windows for being intimidating.
Yeah, and...
Anyways, now we gotta lose 2 more party members.
Yeah.
Because we're doing the anime thing where everybody gets picked off one by one.
Yeah, it's real sad.
So we lose the Tengu and the Magical Girl.
Yep.
And we're left with Trash.
God, are we? But thank God, Trash... Unfortunately, Mongfa gets to kiss Asahi, which, whatever, that's fine. The other 2 don't.
They go off to be a distraction.
And then Trash gets to, and I'm just like, God fucking damn it. Really? And then she sends him through the floor to meet Aoi. And Aoi's like, yeah, and he's like, well, I need to meet Ai. And
she's behind that door over there.
Well, no, at first she's like, she's in here, and like, puts a hand to her chest. And then puts Asahi's head in her chest. Like, and then they go into their memories, go into her memories, Ai's memories, of, essentially how Ai got the pendant that Asahi's been holding on to. It's got like 3 stars and a moon, and it represents the stars that they always like to point out, and into how I started to notice her condition, and as it turns out, she has like terminal brain cancer, and she's got months to live.
Yeah, she's not gonna make it to high school.
Yeah, and
she puts up an act for Asahi, so he doesn't like feel bad.
and at some like she actually like puts on makeup to like hide how exhausted she is, and
She starts pushing him away.
yeah, and then she sees a video of him in front of a cherry blossom tree and texts him, but unfortunately that's the day that she died.
So anyway, these two kind of like, they're like, hey, no, I was trying to push you away. Hey, I was trying to stay away. No, I can't do that.
Oh, she's like, you need to forget me, and he's like, that's what I thought too. That's why I did all of this, but clearly that wasn't the answer. And they both confess to each other, and he kisses another AI because that's just what we're doing now. And it's actually really touching, and I really, really liked it. And God, I wish this was the end.
Unfortunately, it's not.
No, because I disappears as they're deleting everything and manages to get him out. And he gets into college, and he gets to his apartment, but when he gets to his apartment...
There's 4 unmarked boxes. What could they be, he thinks, as he leans into one, and an arm shoots out and grabs him. It's trash.
It's followed by the other 3 girls who now have physical bodies. The fucking AI Institute has sent this man living real dolls.
And before you ask, yeah, the 5th one's on her way.
But she just wanted to walk there for whatever reason.
Dramatic, I don't know.
And so this whole story about this man getting over the loss of his childhood friend and what I was hoping would be about letting go of these things that are clearly immaterial and he could totally find love in the real world gets completely... They sweep the legs of that really great ending and hand him a bunch of real dolls, and it's like...
Go nuts!
Yeah, no, just fucking... It just fumbles it right at the end. Just
fumbles it as hard as possible.
Just the man with like, I can't hold all these limes, just dropping everything as it's just dropping all the anime girls all over Asahi laying on the ground.
It's like in football, you know, when they get a touchdown, they throw the ball down on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, this guy got to the 1 yard line and then threw it down.
And then, as it turns out, and it's just like, no, what he actually did is he turned around and threw it all the way to the other end zone. That's what he did, because it just deletes all of the progress that
Anyway, everybody gets a happy ending. Except us.
It's a shitty happy ending that completely... It undermines all of his character growth, and that was like... There was like a girl that was like actually concerned about him. A real girl in the real world, but no, he gets a bunch of real dolls and gets to live with sentient sex toys for the rest of his life.
Woo!
One of which looks like a minor.
Woo! Oh, I'm sorry.
And they're never gonna grow up! That's the worst part!
You can get upgrades.
No.
I'm sure you just take a wrench and you just, like, tighten some nuts. Okay, let's throw numbers at this.
God damn it. Alright, fine. Just give me a little bit, because I gotta do the copy paste thing, so I'm ready for the next one.
Why do you not have this ready?
No. I copy paste. I should do it in the middle of everything, but I copy paste so I don't have to copy paste and then delete a bunch of shit.
You've got a whole week.
Shut up! I could copy paste and make a ton of them, I know!
Because I don't think we're going to stop anytime soon.
No, we're not. Where the fuck is it? God damn it. Fucking fuck. And of course I didn't grab the fucking... Not exclamation point. There. Alright, great. What the fuck is this called? Love Flops. Which, as it turns out... Yeah.
It's a pun.
It's a pun about the computing power term called flops. Did you get it? We got it way too late. Anyway, plot. I'll be honest, I want to throw a 5 at this because I think this plot was well constructed up until the end.
Yeah, like, to be honest, the second arc kind of lost me a little bit, where it's like, oh, she's going rogue, but she's actually not going rogue.
I like the second half because it's... I was more interested in him dealing with coming back to reality. And I think that should have been the focus for more of it. They just didn't have enough of the show to focus on it.
Well, that'll be season 2 whenever that comes out.
No, there won't be a season 2. There's nothing left to do. I don't want to follow...
Second harem.
I am not dealing with... I am not dealing with another harem of real dolls. I'm not dealing with it. It's not okay. Anyway, do you...
4 or 5 is fine.
I'm gonna hit with a 5. Characters.
They were designed to love him.
The AI were weak, but the sad part is that that was kind of the point. But at the same time, it's like, I didn't feel much of anything when they died. If anything, I was like, well, I mean, I'm glad they are dying.
Yeah, and then Trash died, and we were like, woo!
Yeah! Watched her stupid fucking flip book disappear. Great. But the real people were, like Asahi and I were kind of dead on. Like, that section of the show felt like whoever wrote it actually dealt with something like that. And it really felt like he or she or whatever was kind of saying what they needed to say to someone that in their life that really did pass away, that they loved. And I felt like that was really beautiful. And then he gets a harem of robots. But anyway,
I'd say hit it with a 3 at most.
That's fine. Animation. This kind of runs the middle of the road for animation.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was kind of cool, which was when...
The fight scenes were fine.
Mongfa was sick. Like, really kind of awesome.
The problem is there was only, like, 3 fight scenes.
I mean, granted, it was a harem anime.
Well, yeah, but still, if you're gonna make one of your characters an assassin and a magical girl...
Yeah.
And then you're gonna put fight scenes in, you know...
Yeah.
I'd say hit it with a 3.
Yeah, that seems fair. Genre strength.
I mean, as a harem, it wasn't bad.
As a harem anime, it hit up until
that last, like, 2 minutes.
No, not even. No. Up until we hit the Mongfa episode, it was like, yeah, it's a fucking harem anime. And then Colonel Thunder showed up, and it's like, oh. And then the dick destroying robot showed up, and we're like, okay. And then everyone disappears, and it's implied that Aoi has gone like full Monica from fucking the Doki Doki Literature Club, and we're like, okay. And then he gets booted out of the Matrix, and we're like, okay.
But no, that's what I'm saying. Like, up until the last 2 minutes, it's pretty good, and then they're just like, no, happy ending for everybody.
Yeah, it just fumbles everything. Just drops all the plates. The food's on the floor.
I'd say give it a 4.
Yeah, like, I feel bad docking it an entire point for the last, like...
No, that last scene was kind of egregious.
Yeah,
because like you've said multiple times now, that just cleaned the slate of literally any progression any character had.
Yeah, no, it's embarrassing. Anyway, I guess we'll move on to bonus. We didn't watch the dub. I don't know if the dub was any good. If there was even a dub. I don't know if there was.
Probably not.
Either way. Special mention.
I mean, I've got a thought.
It really has to go to the moment where, because there's a twist and a twist and a twist, but the moment when it started to go off the rails, it's easy to pinpoint. It's the moment he takes the bed sheet off, and it's Colonel fucking Thunders.
Yeah, no, that was my one thought.
We have to give it to the Colonel and his West Coast Lightning, which would eventually become some kind of... Oh god, KEC is even... Like, I think you pointed it out, KEC is even funnier because Kentucky Electrified Chicken.
Oh, shit.
Yeah! That's where he went. That's what he did. He started up KEC. Fucking sick.
Yeah, no, Colonel Thunders was my thought of...
I'm throwing a 2 at it because I think it represents even more than just the character.
It represents the spiral out of control this show has.
That almost stuck the landing. Like, it did a fucking spin pirouette in the air, it landed, and then it tripped and fell the fuck over. But for a glorious few moments, it was a beautiful, perfectly executed spin. Just didn't stick the landing, and it's really unfortunate. So let's total this shit up. We're looking at 17.
Wow, that's good.
It's really unfortunate because I really like everything up until the point where I just wish I hadn't seen the fucking robots. Like, I didn't need that. No one needed that.
No, it's fine.
It's awful.
Okay, anyway, we'll see you guys later.
See ya.